Hey everyone, the Social Security Administration will not be the same in 10 years. They have a plan that is rapidly unfolding, and some of this is detailed in their Vision 2025 strategic plan. And you can go online and read that because they have a webpage devoted to this plan. But to really get into the meat of the plan, you have to dive into some of the supporting studies. Now, in this video, I don't want to cover the entire spectrum of that plan, but I do want to explain what I think is going to be the biggest change. Stay tuned. Hey, I'm Devin. If you're planning for or living in retirement, this channel is for you because we break down all the complicated rules and make it easy to understand. If you are new here, be sure to subscribe, and everyone should hit that like button. So I'm not going to make you wait for several minutes until I reveal what I think is the ultimate end goal of the Social Security Administration, but you probably have already guessed what I'm going to say if you've seen any of the numbers, because some of them speak for themselves. Since 2000, the Social Security Administration has closed 125 of its field offices and all of its 500 plus offices that were set up to serve the rural and isolated communities. Employees are leaving too. More than a third of their employees are eligible for retirement right now. And within 5 years, that number is going to increase to 45% for their senior level staff. Listen, that's nearly half of their most experienced employees. That seems like really bad timing when you combine all of this with the fact that the number of people needing the services of the Social Security Administration are skyrocketing. By the year 2030, 1 in 5 residents will be retirement age and will need the services of the Social Security Administration. So they're closing field offices, employees are leaving, and yet demand for their services is at an all-time high. What's their plan here? Well, although they don't say it directly, it appears that they're going to go the same route as the Internal Revenue Service. Several years ago, the IRS maintained what they referred to as walk-in sites where you could go in and get help with tax questions. Now they're called Taxpayer Assistance Centers, and you have to have an appointment to see anyone. That is, if you have one that's anywhere close to you, because over the last several years, they began closing these sites, and today there's less than 300 left. And if you look at the IRS directory of these centers, the IRS plainly says that nearly every tax issue can now be resolved online or by phone from the convenience of your home or office. The same thing is happening with the Social Security Administration. They are pushing all Social Security recipients to start using their MySSA account instead of making a trip to the local office. Their headline image on the SSA.gov homepage is a happy couple looking at a computer with the caption, "Putting you in control, learn what you can do online." On that same page, they even have a video by the great Susie Orman on why creating an online account is important. And listen, their push is working too. Since 2013, online services have grown from 46.3 million transactions to 163 million transactions in 2018. Make no mistake, the Social Security Administration is changing how they interact with you. It wouldn't surprise me at all if they didn't end up closing all of their field offices, or at least all the field offices outside of the major population centers. This is where I'd like to hear your thoughts. Do you think it's a good idea to close the Social Security Administration's field offices? And if you do or do not, I'd also like to hear why. I think there are pros and cons to that entire scenario, but let's just face the truth and admit that the technicians in those offices are a bit of a mixed bag. Some are awesome. Some are, well, not so awesome. In fact, if you look at the employer rating sites like Indeed or Glassdoor, you'll see plenty of reviews from current and former employees that aren't very flattering. So if you've ever been in one of those offices and you've thought to yourself, I don't think this person likes their job, there's actually a good chance that that person doesn't like their job. So I'm not completely convinced that losing the ability to sit across the desk from most of these technicians is going to end up causing consumers a whole lot of harm. But one thing is for sure, as the Social Security Administration changes their methods, it's going to require that you know more about the system. On this channel, I've said many times that getting educated is the best way to stay safe. You don't have to know everything. You just need to know the basics. And if you know those, you'll be able to spot a potential problem and get it fixed before it gets out of hand. So please, continue to educate yourself. Watch every video in my channel and don't miss any of the new ones. I know that not all of them are going to be applicable directly to you. However, there may be some nugget that'll get stored until it triggers a thought down the road. In addition to watching all of these videos, there's a few books that you should own in your library. The first two are the two books that cover the basics. One is my book, Social Security Basics. I know, I'm self-promoting here. However, the other book is Mike Piper's book, Social Security Made Simple. If you can just learn the basics, you'll be so much better off. Neither of these books are a comprehensive examination of Social Security, but again, that's not what you need. Between both of these, you'll drive down the basic concepts, and once you get the basics, the rest of the system starts to make more sense. Now, after you've read these two books, I really love Social Security for Dummies. Fantastic book. You can see that I use this quite often. This is the updated version of this book. And I also like the book by Andy Landis, which is Social Security, The Inside Story. Now, I would not necessarily suggest buying these two books and reading them cover to cover. As you can see, they're pretty thick, and that wouldn't be any fun. I use these as a reference guide. So after you've read these two books that cover the basics, then you can go back and pick out specific topic areas in these books. Now, I'm going to put a link to all of these in the description below so you can get in there and read all of those books. And if you're on a mobile device, just hit that down arrow to see the description, and you'll see the link coming up right underneath that. Thank you so much for watching. Get educated, learn as much as you can about Social Security, and have a fantastic day.